Yes, I think about, like the big questions that kind of, I guess, keep me awake at night are, how do we ensure that our Hromada is sustainable, can sustain itself going into the future? The kind of upbringing that I had was very special. The kind of upbringing that we try to give our children is very special, and I think they consider themselves very lucky as well. And I would like every Ukrainian Canadian to be able to experience that. And so you start thinking about, як зберегти все, що ми маємо, і як забезпечити все, що ми маємо, and you start thinking about that. So having the infrastructure in place and the services in place for all of us and everyone at every phase of your life. So садочки, церкви, our day schools, which I worry a little bit about now, what's going to happen to our day schools. Again, because my children benefited so greatly from them, I would like other children to have the same benefits, like to experience that, right? Mm-hmm. Like youth groups, university groups, молодечі організації, sports, cultural organizations, right up to the seniors' residences. We were fully immersed in the whole українська спільнота, українська громада. Everything we did revolved around the church. My dad was instrumental in raising funds for Holy Eucharist Church when it was built in 1967. Sum, we belonged to Sumo Seredok in Toronto, so of course every possible Sviata associated with that. Sviata Vesne every year, Tabore. As I mentioned, my dad was hospodar, so there was a lot of involvement on his part in always fundraising, supporting events, and my brothers and I tagged along to all of it. It was an expectation. Ukrainska школа. We would get on the subway and go to Chrissy 3 times a week, and then kurse on Saturdays. We all did our matura.
So what would you like to see different about the community now, do you think?
And the one thing I think we could do a little differently is not focus so much on having delineated groups. And I do see this happening. Like I see our churches working more in tandem. I see like I grew up, я нічого не знала про православну церкву. Right? Yeah. And that's not a good thing. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like, oh, вони православні. What does that mean? When you're a kid, what does that mean? Okay. Right? So now there is a lot of movement towards changing that culture. And I would like to see that religiously, and I'd like to see that politically as well. I mean, the Ukrainian Hromada, Ukrainska Hromada, it's no different than any other Hromada in the sense that it's diverse. It's diverse politically, it's diverse religiously, it's diverse, in many different ways, culturally. Now we even talk about like sexual orientation in the Ukrainian community, which never would have happened, 30 or 40 or 50 years ago when we were growing up. But that's the kind of movement I think will make a big difference.